Hey, what's up, guys? We're back at it with Kyle, and he has his updated, highly requested SYNCHRO Salamangreat list updated for the post Age of Overlord / Valiant Smashers format. Really, this is the dawn before the storm, where we really just have like a lot of new fire support coming out, and this is Sal's going to change up forever, but we have a few months where this is going to be the list you guys are going to want to check out if you want to run some spicy, unique salad, and certainly has some really good matchups, and I would like to just show it off, and you guys have requested the updated build. Before we get into it, do you have any shout outs or anything to say, Kyle?
I'd like to shout out MetaGamesGX for having me on the channel, as always. Thank you. I'd like to shout out Genesis Gaming and Hobby for having our locals. It's always a blessing. And shout out to Shadow Realm for not consuming my soul yet. Alright, let's get
Fair enough. 40 card build?
Yes, 40 cards.
Nice, let's see it.
Alright, so we're going to start off kind of strong with 3 Ash. It's good against the ishizu millers, good against a lot of cards that search. This card plus impermanence is just a game over for flu. And you can recur it with Sunlight Wolf, so it's always a good hand trap to have.
Of course.
And it's a level 3 tuner for reasons that we'll get into in just a short while. And then you have 3 Flame Bufferlo. I'm always going to be a Bufferlo stan. This card is absolutely fantastic. And I think it's actually primed to be really good in the upcoming format. You can play the 3 of Fire variant, and I won't stop you. But this card has always been insane, in my opinion, and will continue to always be insane. So I just suggest that you play it. It's really good. Give it a try. Book of Moon is no longer being made, so I don't see a reason why not. And now for the new spicy tech, 3 Kashtira Fenrir. This card made a first appearance in my Adventure Code Talker list, but now we're using it for dual moding of being a good card and your way to get to Baronne. I'll show the setup later, but now let's just move on to the Salad Engine. The Salad Engine in this is just relatively standard, starting off with 1 of Fire and 3 Gazelle.
So why do you like this ratio?
Because Gazelle is of Fire, but better in every single way, and of Fire is just a good backup plan for when you open a single searcher and a lot of the generic cards. And
your plan B, because you want to be going into Baron with this build and such like that.
Yes, you want to be going into Baronne, but if you have nothing else to do, you can just search out Fire and do the standard 1-card combo. And if they have interruption for it, they have interruption for it.
Totally makes sense with the 3 Buffalo too. Makes sense.
Yeah, and it's good to revive off Will.
Yes.
And summon off Mirage Stalio.
Facts.
3 Foxy. I think 3 Foxy is really good in this format, specifically because of Dragon Link continuing to be good. Same with like all the Bestial Horus variants, getting rid of Gold Sark, or whatever the card, King Sarcophagus.
Yes.
Branded Regained. It's good against Purrely for my friend Purrely and Purrely Stray Street. It's also
Centurion field spell.
Yes, the Centurion field spell, and it's a good way. You can just normal summon this card, make Balinks, don't search Sanctuary because you're under deck lockdown. Then you can just pitch like a random salad name, summon it, and then get rid of deck lockdown so they can't hit you with deck lockdown. It's also good against anti-spell and a lot of other floodgates. I think this card is really good. And for every Bufferlo you play, unless you're playing a 3 of Fire variant, you should be playing 1 Foxy to complement it, because there are some times where you draw salad names you can't summon, and Foxy is the best way to get them out of your hand and into your graveyard.
Sounds good.
3 Spinny, best extender in the deck. This card has always just been completely nuts in Salad. It's always been good. If you're playing less than 3.
What are you doing?
Well, it's not what are you doing, it's I would want to know what your reasoning is. Because my reasoning is this card is always gas, and this card is a 1-card Heat Soul. And yeah, we play Heat Soul in this variant because you kind of have to. Double Jack Jaguar. It's also a 1-card Heat Soul, and you'll see why when we get into the combos and like how this deck operates. But normally I would only play like 1, but with the rampancy of cards like DD Crow in the format and Necro Valley being played in some decks, like doesn't Cash play Necro Valley, or is that?
I mean, they will play whatever they can.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Yeah. double Jack Jaguar, and then onto the two one-ofs, Falco and Weasel. Weasel is your main way to get to Baron because it's a level 3 tuner. You'll probably see where this is going if you can do basic math. But Falco's also just a good one-of. There are some lists that don't play Falco, and I'm kind of confused about why they don't, but then again, that list got top 4 at a huge tournament, so apparently I'm wrong, which is weird because I wouldn't think I'd be wrong. And then 3 Nibiru. Nibiru is one of the best hand traps in this format. It takes out a lot of stuff in this format. It's okay against like Unchained, but it does a lot of work against Rescue Ace, and it is just overall a good card.
It's great going first and second.
Yep. It's really good going first and going second. Always has been.
Because you have insane recurability in this deck through the graveyard, so tributing your shit, no issue.
Oh no, I'll get rid of my Link 4 and summon Gazelle, and then pitch Falco and reset Will and during next turn.
Yeah.
1 Sanctuary, 3 Circle. This is kind of standard.
Yeah, we don't really.
This card is part of the combo.
Okay, that's the combo.
It is part of the combo.
Okay.
1 Will. If you want to play 3 Will, you can. I personally have to do a little bit more experimenting with it, but I've seen lists that have gone off really well with 3 Will, so you might see me playing it in the future, but as of right now, it's just a one-of.
Sounds good.
3 Sonnet Mining. This card is usually used to proc Gazelle from your deck or search out Flame Buffalo, and it can also do stuff with the combo, but it is kind of one of the weaker searchers in this deck, but it's still a very, very strong card. And 1 Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is insane. That's it. And for the traps, you have 3 Infinite Impermanence, 1 Rage, and 1 Rar. There are some lists that play 2 Rar, and you can go ahead and play 2 Rar. There are some lists that play 2 Rage. You can go ahead and do that. I think 1 and 1 is perfectly fine, because opening these is good, but you would rather open starters to help your deck actually function rather than open trap cards. Because, like, if you're on a 3 of Fire variant, I can see you playing 2 of 1 or maybe 2 of each. But since I'm on the Buffalo variant, I don't want to open trap cards. I want to open Cyberse monsters. These are really good at 1, and Imperm is always good at 3. And now to move on to the extra deck. There's a spicy tech in here that you don't have to play. I'm just playing it because it's hilarious. First off, we have 3 Balinks. There are lists that play this at 2, but that's because they're playing Update Jammer, and I think Update Jammer is horrible in Salad. Every time I've played it, I've never summoned it, and I really don't like it, so I'd rather have 3 Balinks, because having a Link 1 is just always really good. And 3 Sunlight Wolves. Yeah, I got the Ghosters, finally.
Finally, guys.
Yeah, it's been a
Look
while.
at those babies.
They're beauts. Yeah, Sunlight Wolf is insane. There are lists that play this at 2, and I'm not a huge fan of less than 3, because this card is super nuts at bringing back Ash Blossom and cards like Buffalo, brings back your extra deck monsters, and it can also always bring back Gazelle. It is also the easiest Link monster in your deck to make.
Yes.
And yeah, this card's always been good. Brings back your back row, just does literally everything for your engine. And 2 Heat Leo. There are lists that don't play. There are lists that play 1. There are lists that play none. I like playing 2 in almost all of my variants because it's really good against Runic. I've seen a lot of Salad games where they just fold to Messenger a piece because they Call by the Grave or banish Foxy from the top of the deck, and they just don't have an out. And I think this card is fantastic as an out to it.
General Floodgatage.
Yes. Yeah. Heat Leo is really good against Floodgates. And it's also good for time, because you can shrink your own monster, crash, and then bring back Phoenix, and it has 5,100 attack. You can shrink their monster and crash over it. It's just good all around. And 2 Raging Phoenix. This card is probably the all-star of the Salad going forward in terms of what you want to end on. Unfortunately, there are some issues with getting there, like Nibiru, obviously, but this deck can solve it. So this card will almost always be live, and this card is just absolutely insane. Floats, searches on reincarnation, super easy to reincarnate. Its arrows are really good for Jack Jaguar. It's a fantastic OTK tool, and this is just what the deck needed. And now Splash Mage and Deco Talker Heatsoul.
Oh, the QCR.
Yeah, I got the QCR.
Of his first pack.
Yeah, first pack of my first rarity collection. So Splash Mage is in here because there are some times where you're going to want to go Splash Mage into Heatsoul, and then you can use Heatsoul and Balinks to make Raging Phoenix. You do this when you have the Baronne set up.
Okay.
Because Mirage Stalio locks you into Fire Monster effects, and if you do that during your main point of combo, you can't use Baronne. So locking yourself into summoning Cyberses is way better, because it doesn't hinder you at all. And for the spicy tech, Black Rose Dragon, the reason why is because Weasel plus any level 4 is a 7, and you can protect your field with Balinks, so it's a one-sided field nuke.
That's nuts.
And you can recur this with Sunlight Wolf because it's a fire monster, so
this is
you'll
going
be
in
able
the
to basically
thumbnail.
Black Rose every single turn. And here's
nuts.
here's Baron. The Baron combo is actually really efficient now. Like, you'll need to do some hoping in terms of opening some stuff, but
You always have another game plan, you know? You could
Yeah.
always just do standard salad combo.
Yep, this entire deck is no longer just if you have the gas to make Baron, you can do that. Otherwise, you're like mitigating your own salad combo. It's now you choose one based on your opening hand and you go down that combo, but you can also just do both at the same time. And then Stalio to end it off, because Stalio always ends it off.
Love it, bro. Mm-hmm. Do you have a side deck for us?
Always. I'll always have a side deck.
Unless it's hat format on DB or dueling.
Or in real life, yeah. 3 DD Crow. I think Crow is really good in this format, specifically for like Ishizu, fairies, and tier
Purrely.
names in general. It's really good against Purrely because you can snipe the quick play spells when they try and do the Purrely. It's also good against Salad, which I think is actually going to be a really good deck this format. Not like at the absolute top tables all
Just
the
yet.
time, but you have to watch out for it. It's also really good against a good amount of rogue decks, and this card is just really nice against Unchained for when they link summon Yama, because
Yep.
you can just banish the Unchained card from their graveyard, meaning you have to search from the deck. But if you want to play Ghost Bell instead, you can.
Sounds good.
3 Droll and Lockbird. Droll and Lockbird is really good against exactly Rescue Ace and Manatium. And it's also really good against Marincess and Salad, to be frank, because they normal summon a fire, they search, you just hit them with the Droll, and their turn is basically over from that point, unless they can just do their full combo or they open the trap cards. Yeah, this card is really good, and I would highly suggest that you experiment with this card. Well, not experiment, just like play it in your sideboard, and if you don't like it, it's fine, you can cut it. 3 Kurikara Div Incarnate, as always, best fire extender board breaker in the game. Every time I've sided this card in, it's usually been against decks like Purrely, Marincess. It's not amazing against Tearlament, but in the games where you can get this card to proc, and you can get rid of more than one card, or even just one card that you normally couldn't get rid of, this card will win you the game. And now onto the spells. 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Thrust, and 1 Talents. Basically, the theory is that you can thrust into Talents, Lightning Storm, or Salamangreat Rage. You can use Talents to rip a card out of their hand, or draw 2 cards after they hit you with Nibiru if you didn't get the combo. And you can use Lightning Storm just as a way to break through a board if they ash your first starter. Or they droll you on Signet Mining. And then for the traps to set off Thrust, D-Barrier, because it's really good against Purrely, Manatium, and Tearlament, and 2 evenly matched. You want to open this card, but you don't want to like play it at 3, because sometimes it's super cloggy if you open multiples.
Would you run more thrust if you have them?
I would actually want to run more Talents.
Got it.
But if I had a second Thrust, I would definitely be playing it.
Sounds good.
All right.
Any last thoughts on the Synchro Salad list for people to take away for their own use of it?
Yes.
Oh yeah, don't you have a combo for me?
So you go in, let's say you would realistically you only need these 3 cards to perform the combo. You go Draw Phase Circle and you search Weasel. Then you special summon Fenrir, and then normal summon Weasel. 3 plus 7 is 10.
Yep.
So you use those, and you make Baronne, and then you summon Gazelle, and then with Gazelle, you can pitch Spinny, and then Spinny can bring itself back, and there's your Splash Mage into Heat Soul. So if you draw another way to extend, or let's say you have the Spinny in your hand as well, and you get rid of a Foxy, you can make the Raging Phoenix.
Yes.
You can, yeah. It's nuts. And with the circle and draw phase, if you don't search off Fenrir, they can't droll you until after you've searched Sanctuary.
Yep.
And if they do droll you, you can use the Baron to stop that.
There you go.
If they don't droll you, you can use the Baron to stop Nib. And if they don't do that, like they don't open either, this card is just nuts.
And then, yeah, and just like you said, any like one more form of extension gets you into the Raging Phoenix, which gets you into full combo elsewise beside on top of Baron, so it's kind of nuts.
And if you have a Raging Phoenix in your, let's say you have a Raging Phoenix in your graveyard and one on your field with the Baron, you can use Baron's effect to pop your own Raging Phoenix and then summon the other one. And this will go up to 56, and this is already at 3,000, so that's an OTK line for literally free.
Well, there we go, folks.
Yeah, that's basically the deck. Rest in peace, Salamangreat Tiger. Unfortunately, it hadn't made the cut this time, but that's only because I wanted to test it with Fenrir. If you want to play the original variant, you can. If you want to play this new one, go ahead. I won't stop you. But other than that, that's basically it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys later.
Peace out.